G'day guys. So, time to finally get into the 2013 PR1M. And can't wait to check this thing out. This one was actually sent to me by my mate Luke in South Australia. And he has been looking for a year trying to find one of these for me to review. And finally, all that hard work's paid off. So Luke, thank you so much, mate. Can't thank you enough. This is 100% legit, 100% intact PR1M. And Gundog actually reviewed one from 2018 recently, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below for you to check out. Absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how much this one has changed in those 5 years. So, let's check it out. We've also got something which is a regular from the normal CR1M, which is a rubbish bag, or just a bag to put in any extra stuff. Well, let's get into these mains straight away. So the first one we've got is Tuna Mornay. Second one, beef teriyaki, and that is the same one that Gundog actually had in his. We've got all fruits mixed berry bar. Cereal bar, blueberry and apple. Sweetened condensed milk. Biscuits, crisp bread, and this is packaged in 2012. Got some beef flavoured noodles here. Plain sweet biscuits. Freeze dried rice. Chocolate drinking powder, and don't know if I've actually had one in this sort of plasticky package like that before. Candy chocolates, or those sort of things are a bit like Smarties or M&Ms, plain M&Ms, those ones. We've got something which we call Smarties here in Australia. I know in the States you've got Smarties, which are those little sugar sort of lollies which are wrapped up. The spoon. This thing is awesome. Probably the best quality one I've found in any ration pack. Plum Jam. Ooh, high energy sports drink mixed berry. And this feels really, really hard inside. Or like, it's like it's turned into a sticky lolly in a way. Scourer. Another all fruits mixed berry bar. Oh, not one, but two ADF chocolate rations. Awesome. Matches. Yep, and they've got the plain ones and the wind or waterproof ones which are in there. Another cereal bar, blueberry and apple flavoured. Yeast extract or Vegemite. This stuff is worth its weight in gold in Australia. Peppermint Lifesavers. And finally, we have this accessory pack. Let's check that out now. So the bag with the accessory pack actually had a rubber band around it. And these two pink coloured little bits of paper fell out. And that's purely for quality control there. Also got another rubber band holding instant coffee, tomato sauce or ketchup, salt, pepper, and another instant coffee there. And we've got a third rubber band holding your loo roll or your toilet paper, 2 tea bags, 2, 4, 6 sugars, and 2 packets of sugar-free peppermint gum. So we've got everything laid out, and a couple of things that have struck me really early is one, there are no cans in here, so that's why we don't have a Fred. There's also no main breakfast main. So in the CR1Ms, you'd get the pack of muesli with the mixed fruit in it, which you'd make up. With this, we don't have that. All we've got is the cereal bars, mixed fruit bars, and things like that, which you could probably have for your brekkie. The main thing that they've actually gone for in these is the 2 massive mains over there. And you can bulk those up with the beef noodles and the freeze-dried rice here. So because there's no breakfast main, I'm just going to split this into 2 main meals. So let's get into meal 1. So because it takes about 15 minutes to make up, I'm actually going to do the beef teriyaki for our first meal. This thing asks for 350 mils of water. However, try and learn from other people's mistakes. Gundog actually put the full amount in, and he found it to be really, really soupy when he actually did it. So, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to add just 250 mils of water, and hopefully that'll actually work out alright. If I could make this bloody thing stand up. There we go. Cool. So it's got this weird sort of paper on here. And it is very, very oily as well. You can probably see the shine on my fingers there. Quite a lot of oil in it. I can't really smell a distinct sort of smell in there at all. But having a look at it, all those goodies inside. So I'm just going to break it up in here and pour it all in. Heaps. See, there we go. Much better view for you. So, a lot of different items in there. You've got your beef, you've got some carrot, potato, things like that, I'm guessing. But let's add this water. So I've got 250 mils of water here. Adding all that in. Main thing is with freeze-dried stuff, you can always add water, you can't take it out. So I don't want anything too runny. Don't really enjoy that sort of food. So that's why I'm simply going to try and just do this with the minimum amount of water needed to make sure that it's as enjoyable, but also that it's reconstituted nicely as well. So I'll fold that over to keep the heat in. I'll let that do its thing. It also suggests to actually give it a stir every 5 minutes as well. So the main's halfway through reconstituting, and next thing we want to do is actually get into these noodles. So something with these noodles is there's a few different ways you can do it. You can either chuck all the noodles in with this flavour sachet all together, and then you have like a nice beefy, stocky sort of soup with it. Or you can actually just have the noodles by themselves, let them just sort of soften up a bit, get rid of some of the water, and then put in that flavouring with it as well if you don't like the soup. So that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm just going to leave these noodles in here for a while doing their thing, and then later on drain off a bit of this water and then add in that sachet. Next, we're going to add in this flavoured beverage drink powder. Oh, wow. There you go. So you can see it's just one massive clump in there. Smells absolutely fantastic though. I've got it a little bit away from my face, and like the smell's really, really coming out of it quite nicely. Hopefully it still tastes alright. This is going to need a bit of stirring. In all the previous drinks like this that I've done, it's always said between 500 ml and 1 litre of water. What I did was I actually just put in 800 mils of water with this one. Still a little bit of stuff on the bottom there, but most of it has actually reconstituted really well, or like dissolved really well. And finally, let's make up this coffee. Now, this coffee is actually, feels pretty hard inside. So, don't know how it's going to go. Actually, put it out onto my hand first, I think. Don't know about you, but I think that looks like a little bit of mold on there. So, unfortunately, no coffee for us today. So what do we do if we can't have a coffee? Let's have a tea instead. And this should be the Bell branded ones, which we've come to know in the PR1Ms, and it is. Plonk that one in there. I'll just use one of these sugar packets. I actually tore this off of another one, and it opened up on the side here, so that's why I didn't have to open it at all. And we'll chuck in some sweetened condensed milk as well. Just use the little spike here to perforate that. Nice. And give it a good squeeze in there. Check on these noodles while we're here. And they're really, really soft already. So I'm going to go and drain off some of this water and put in the flavouring packet. So I've left a little bit of water in here at the bottom. Really, having that water in there is just going to spread the seasoning around a bit better and make sure it goes over everything. Got that in there, give it a stir. And she's already done. As you can see, the brown broth down the bottom there now. Fantastic. Let's get the rest of this stuff plated up. So I've just given this another stir. It's only got a couple more minutes left on the main to reconstitute. We'll chuck these noodles into the side here real quick. Most of them in there. Open up these crisp bread biscuits. Not exactly sure what to expect here. Okay. So it looks a bit like a multigrain sort of bicky in here, or some high fibre sort of things. These look a lot like what we call here Vita Wheats. So you can see the whole grains and stuff like that inside it. Very thin. Great for a bit of texture though. We'll grab our blueberry and apple cereal bar. These are pretty much a staple in the PR1M, so we have seen these before. Nicely baked with the filling inside there. I think it's quite similar to what they have overseas called Fig Newtons. And we'll get into some of this chocolate as well. Ooh, bit of bloom on this one, and also broken up as well. So chuck a few pieces out onto here. There we go, just half of it will be fine. I will be trying also the jam and the yeast extract on these crackers which we have here, or these multigrain biscuits. Got the yeast extract now. These do tend to get a little bit of pressure inside them, and you might see that the Vegemite's pushing itself out. I'm not even having to touch it and it's already coming out. So I'm just going to pop the lid back on here before it spills out everywhere. And I've also got the tomato ketchup and the gum in case we want it for later on. So let's see how this teriyaki beef went. For me, that is absolutely perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. So pour that out on here. And it really is a great size main as well. So let's try this main. Can't wait. Looks absolutely fantastic. There's a fair few things you can actually see in here. And I'll try and get a bit more there. So you might be able to see some of it. We've actually got some baby corn, green beans, capsicum, beef. Let's give it a taste. Wow, a really great strong teriyaki flavour there. It actually reminds me a lot of beef jerky. The beef in here is still pretty chewy, but it's not hard at all. And not really a problem. It's actually quite nice to have that bit of texture inside of here too. Very, very salty, I must say. There's a lot of salt in this. It doesn't need any seasoning or flavours at all. Absolutely perfect the way it is. Yeah, blown away by that. I wasn't expecting too much from this main, but quite happy with it. And I will say that about MREs and their mains. A lot of people absolutely take the mickey out of these things saying, oh, absolutely disgusting, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Bloody try one. You'll be really surprised at how good these things can actually be. And let's try some of these noodles. These are very, very soft, not really much texture at all with them. However, that beef flavouring, very nice. It's got a nice little sort of broth that it sits in there. So great flavour. And let's try these multigrain biscuits too. Really, really nicely baked there. Plenty of seeds inside as well. No smell to them at all. But we'll try it plain first. Still a great crunch to those. Absolutely fantastic. Don't taste stale at all. And I'm actually going to try a bit of this on top of here. Let's see how that actually goes. Oh, giddy up. That is awesome. You know what? The saltiness of this, along with the wheaty sort of flavour and the crunch and the different textures, works so, so well. They're absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. And let's try some of this plum jam on here too. Geez, that's really, really good. Not runny, hasn't separated at all. That plum jam is absolutely fantastic. Great sweetness, very nice plum flavour too. It's not overpowering or too much. They did a great job with that one. Put the lid back on there. And let's get our Vegemite out. It's been a while, but we got to bring back the Vegemite. Oh, Vegemite is absolutely fantastic. Love this stuff. Now, when Vegemite was first created, they actually found it in some vats where they were like making beer and stuff like that. So that's where they actually first got the whole idea of Vegemite and stuff. However, a mate of mine who's Muslim, he actually asked about it and going, well, if it's done in that, I can't have it because it may have like alcohol and stuff like that in there. But I was actually looking at it, and on the packaging here, it does say that it's yeast grown on barley. So they actually produce it a different way nowadays, so they don't make it from the vats where the beer's been. So if anyone's worried about alcohol or anything like that, you can certainly try Vegemite if you want to. And just going to have a bit of this drink here, the mixed berry drink. Very, very nice. Absolutely fantastic. And that is one of the coolest colours I've seen. Check that out. Great dark blue there. I was a bit worried about it with that powder being so thick and stuck together. However, it's not sour at all. It tastes absolutely perfect. Now we'll try out this cereal bar. Give you a nice cross section there. Brilliant. Great crunch from the stuff on the outside there. And really nice chewy and a little bit of sweetness inside. But I'm actually going to chuck a bit of this plum jam on here, just to see how that goes. Just some added moisture, because it is pretty dry. Yeah, it makes it a lot nicer. A lot of sweetness there, bit of moisture, really, really kicks it up quite a lot. Before I try this chocolate, I'm going to have some of our tea here. Really, really great colour. And an even better taste. Absolutely beautiful. That Bell branded tea just has such a great taste to it. It's not too strong, it's not weak at all. Little bit of sugar, milk or the condensed milk inside, just spot on. Usually I drink my tea black, but when it comes to these PR1Ms or CR1Ms, that is definitely how I like to drink the Bell branded one. Finally, we'll try this chocolate. Now, it's probably one of the ones which are a bit more worse to wear than what I'm used to with these things. I've been really, really lucky with these Aussie ration packs, but quite a lot of bloom in there. But generally, it still tastes perfect. Great milk chocolate flavour on here. However, the texture, it's almost chalky. When you bite into it, it just crumbles apart very, very quickly. But still very, very nice with the flavour, and that's what we really want. I'm not actually going to try this gum now, and there's no need for that tomato ketchup there. So I'm just going to finish this up, and then we'll come back for the second part. So for the last meal, we're going to be having Tuna Mornay, freeze-dried rice, the sweet biscuits, chocolate drink, candy chocolates, and our all fruits mixed berry bar. Let's get into it. So with the Tuna Mornay, this one also asks for 350 mils of water, but once again, I'm only going to add 250 mil, simply because it worked so well last time with that amount. And because I already made up one last time, I'm just going to do this pretty quick and get it all done for you and speed it up a little bit. Check all that out. So it's pretty cool. Possibly little bits of tuna in there, but I'm thinking it's more what this flake is actually. We've got some pasta by the looks of it and some corn. Let's add the water in. Really strong smell of the tuna there. Someone who's probably not too keen on seafood or tuna might be a little bit off put by it, but not too bad. So with this one, it actually does need a bit more water, I reckon. Dribble a little bit more in there. Do kind of want Tuna Mornay to have a little bit of a nice gravy with it and sauce. And just in case you're interested, I actually added an extra 40 ml of water with that one. So ended up being 290 ml that I put into that main. Now we've got our freeze-dried rice here. Got to add 250 ml to this one. That's bloody hot on the old fingers, that. Bit of a quick stir. And we'll seal this one up. Actually, I'm going to pop that into here because it wants to actually overflow a bit. So I'll chuck that one in there and let that do its job over here. And for our hot drink, we're going to make the chocolate drink up. You can have it just straight like this, or you can actually add some sweetened condensed milk if you want to it. So let's get the rest of the stuff out onto the tray. First we'll open up these plain sweet biscuits. Feel a little bit broken up, but for the most part they seem really, really good. And I think that's got Griffins written on it. Never heard of those. Go one of these all fruit bar mixed berries. Oh, that is very, very sticky in there. Actually, so sticky it wants to stay inside the packet and tear apart as we're opening it. Check that out, just very, very black. Very strong sweet smell there, almost like apple juice or something like that. And we'll open up these candy chocolates. Yeah. And yeah, exactly like I said, like Smarties. What we call Smarties over here. So basically, most users will say they're just M&Ms. And you wouldn't be too far wrong. It's exactly what they're like. We've got these lifesavers here. While we're waiting for these mains to rehydrate, I'm just going to try this hot chocolate, see how it goes, and see whether we need to add any sweetened condensed milk to it. Now, you know what? That's absolutely fine. Doesn't need anything extra in it, no extra sugar. It's already plenty sweet enough. And, you know, it doesn't need any like condensed milk or anything in there. It's totally up to you if you wanted to. You can tell that it was made up with water and not like milk or anything like that. But it's still really, really pleasant and doesn't need that extra dairy in there. We'll plop the rice out here first, just to one side. And there's always an absolute ton of rice too in this. Nice and fluffy as well, really, really good quality rice. And finally, our Tuna Mornay. And look how good that looks. Really, really nice. Fantastic smell too coming up from it. Really been looking forward to getting into this one. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely looking forward to checking this out. So, let's get into it with this Tuna Mornay first. Looking on there, you can see some little specks of pepper, chunks of pasta, got a bit of tuna in there as well, obviously. But I think it's more those little flakes that we saw earlier on when it was still dry. I never actually saw any big chunks of tuna in here. Oh wow, that whole thing has reconstituted perfectly. Really good, nice texture in there. No hard bits at all. The pasta, tuna, bits of corn as well that are in here. Fantastic, just absolutely go together perfectly. There is a really strong cheese flavour in the background too of that. They must have used a bit of cheese or something in the mixture. But yeah, it's quite a strong cheese flavour too, as well as the tuna. We'll try some of this rice plain first. Like I said, very, very fluffy and just looks fantastic. Not gluggy or sticky or anything at all. I did give it its full suggested amount of time for reconstitution, but you know, it's still slightly sort of grainy. It's not hard or crunchy, but it just almost chalky, a bit like that chocolate before, where it just really falls apart in your mouth. So we'll try it together with the Tuna Mornay. Now, I might give a few people a heart attack here, but I'm actually going to put some of this tomato ketchup onto this Tuna Mornay, just to see how that goes. It's really nice, but it just seems like it might be missing something. So maybe a little bit of salt and stuff like that from this tomato sauce will help. That was actually pretty cool. The taste of them together almost gives you a bit of a flavour, a bit like a fish cake. So, not too bad. And let's give one of these sweet biscuits a go. Really nicely baked. Look fantastic. Great texture and flavour with that. Nice, really, really crunchy, but crumbly at the same time. Great sweetness, and it's almost a bit like an Anzac biscuit. So it's almost like got some golden syrup or treacle or something like that in there to give it that sweetness and hold it together. And there is a flavour in there of something a bit like rolled oats. We'll try out this all fruits bar. Already wanted to break apart, so that was easy to do. Very, very dark inside. It's a lot like the inside of the cereal bar. Geez, that thing is sticky. As you're chewing on it, it just wants to stick to your teeth inside. You can really taste the apple and the banana, which they've actually used to make it up with. Great chewiness though. And we'll try these candied chocolates. Yep, pretty much identical to M&M's. And finally, going to have this peppermint lifesaver. I'm really glad that I actually saved these peppermint lifesavers for after the Tuna Mornay. It is a very tasty main, however, the tuna isn't one of those flavours you want to have lingering around in your mouth for a while afterwards. So the peppermint flavour really does help get rid of that. So that's the end of the review, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave us a thumbs up. Let us know what you thought in the comments section below. Hit subscribe. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks heaps for watching, everyone. See ya.